The Ryko X100R engine protection kit for the KUN Toyota Hilux comes complete with the Ryko Z980 SK series fuel water separator and RCC 351 series catch can, as well as specifically molded hoses, brackets, fuel lines and hose clamps, all engineered for a neat install that looks like it could have come this way from the factory. As always, we recommend that the kit is installed by a qualified mechanic with the procedures shown in this instructional video. First off, we'll be fitting the metal bracket used to mount the fuel water separator and catch can. Begin by locating the factory nut and washer that mounts the factory ABS module between the airbox and the brake fluid reservoir. Be sure to only remove the one closest to the engine as shown here. Next, position the bracket in the engine bay like so, engaging this point of the bracket onto the stud and loosely refitting the factory nut and washer. Next, note the position of this hole in the engine bay. From the front left wheelhouse of the vehicle, install the supplied M6 bolt with a washer upwards through this hole and secure the bracket with the supplied M6 nylon lock nut. Be sure to note the bolt direction and don't install the bolt so it protrudes into the wheelhouse. From there, you can secure the bracket onto the sidewall of the vehicle by installing a supplied M8 bolt with a supplied M8 washer here, then simply tighten up all the fasteners. Next, we can get to work installing the Ryco fuel water separator. From the kit, select the supplied quick connectors that fit the Ryco fuel water separator head. Locate the supplied blanking plugs and install the Ryco fuel water separator head with metal quick connectors, blanking plugs and rubber bonded washers like so. Be sure to install the blanking plugs on port 3 and 4 of the head and the quick connectors on port 1 and 2. Now install 2 supplied elbow connectors onto one end of both supplied fuel hoses and install 4 supplied fuel hose clamps onto both ends of the fuel hoses like so. Locate the factory fuel supply line by starting at the fuel inlet port of the factory fuel filter. Have a rag ready to capture any spilt diesel. Loosen the factory fuel hose clamp and disconnect the fuel supply line from the factory filter. Trace the other end of the fuel supply line and disconnect it from the metal factory fuel supply pipe. Next, mount the fuel water separator assembly onto the Ryco mounting bracket using the 2 black M10 bolts supplied with the kit. Connect one of the supplied fuel hoses to the inlet port of the fuel water separator by pushing the elbow connector onto the metal quick connector until you hear a click. Route the other end under and up past the factory ABS module pipes and brake fluid reservoir. Continue the hose along the top of the factory AC pipes and along the factory powertrain harness at the back of the engine bay like so. Connect the end of the fuel hose to the factory fuel supply pipe, ensuring no sharp bends in the hose, and secure with a supplied fuel hose clamp. Connect the supplied second hose to the outlet port of the fuel water separator by pushing the elbow connector onto the metal quick connector until you hear a click, and route the other end similar to the first hose. Connect the end of the fuel hose to the factory fuel filter and secure with the supplied fuel hose clamp. From there you can tighten all of the hose clamps and secure the 2 fuel hoses to the engine harness along the back of the engine bay with the supplied cable ties. To complete the install of the fuel water separator, you'll need to prime the vehicle's fuel system. Start by locating the priming button on the top of the factory fuel filter and prime the fuel system by pumping the button repeatedly. Continue pumping until it's hard to press. The priming process could take about 5 to 10 minutes. To fit the Ryco catch can, start by removing the plastic engine cover. Mount the Ryco catch can onto the Ryco mounting bracket by sliding its nylon bracket onto its mounting position. Rotate the catch can so it's facing towards the back of the engine bay and tighten the plastic bracket retaining screw. Next, locate the factory PCV valve on the driver's side engine rocker cover, remove the factory rubber ventilation hose from the PCV outlet and store it for safekeeping. Next, grab this supplied Ryco PCV hose, connect the small end to the outlet of the engine PCV valve and secure with a supplied hose clamp. Route the hose behind the intercooler bracket, connect the other end of the hose to the lower port of the Ryco catch can and secure with a supplied hose clamp. Now grab the other Ryco PCV hose. Connect the small end to the inlet of the factory ventilation pipe and secure with a supplied hose clamp. Route the hose in front of the intercooler bracket, connect the other end of the hose to the upper port of the Ryco catch can and secure with a supplied hose clamp. Check that neither of the PCV hoses are jammed or kinked by the surrounding engine parts. To install the drain hose, remove the drain plug from the bottom of the catch can, take out the rubber seal from the plug and refit. Insert the drain hose and secure it with a supplied spring clamp. Insert the hose drain tap to the other end and use the zip ties to secure the hose. To drain, use a drain pan or bottle and pull back the red section until all the oil is drained out.